As you guys know, this series is where I search for the worst weapon in Warframe. The next weapon I'm taking a look at is the Corpus Hammer, the Arca Titron. Now honestly, I think the design for this hammer is absolutely amazing, and the stats aren't even that bad at all. However, while I was looking up and doing research on the weapon, I saw most people saying it's useless without significant effort being put into its build. Another thing I saw people talking about when looking up the weapon was people asking if anyone actually used it, which is pretty funny. So that's why I chose it for today's video. I honestly think it's going to be a fun weapon to use after looking into it, and doubt it'll be as close as bad as the Kraken or the Penta, but I mean, I guess we'll see. But I don't see anything being worse than the Kraken at this point besides maybe the Stug, which I do see being worse than everything. Anyway, the first thing that really stands out to me about this weapon is its status chance, which is absolutely insane at a whopping 38% chance to cause a status effect. I mean, not to sound weird or anything, but that status chance, it kind of turns me on just a little bit. Secondly, apparently the Arca Titron has the highest base attack in the entire game at 360 damage per hit, and most of that damage is impact damage, which is useless mostly, but at least it does something. You know, it does something. Another cool thing about the Arca Titron is its special ability, which is that every kill you get builds up power for the next slam attack, which can apparently make slam attacks go absolutely crazy. On top of the slam already being insane, it also does electricity damage, which is absolutely an awesome perk. Believe it or not, the positives don't even end there. This Titron also has a high crit chance, with it being 24% with a 2x crit multiplier. Honestly, after reading the positives of the Arca Titron, I feel like it's set to be one of the best melee weapons in the entire game. I mean, these positives are insane. However, I am leaving something out that's very important. It might have a long list of positives, but the ultimate thing holding it back is the fact it's a large, heavy hammer with one of the worst attack speeds in the entire game. Actually, it's not just a bad attack speed because of it's a hammer. It actually has the worst attack speed of all the hammers in the game, which is an absolutely impressive feat, but obviously not a good one to accomplish. Okay, now let's actually get into using the weapon. I'll show you some gameplay of me using it for the first time here, with the weapon at level 1, on an easy extermination mission on Earth. You guys know the drill. I'm honestly really excited to see how the weapon looks with my Rhino. I think it'll be a cool combination. I think they'll fit each other perfectly. What is up, guys? I hope this isn't like cringe or anything, but I'm using the Arca Titron, and the reason I say I hope it's not cringe is because I'm actually really excited to use this weapon. I know this is the worst weapon in the game series, so I probably shouldn't be excited to use these weapons, but this weapon just looks so cool, dude. I mean, it just looks so awesome with the hammer and how it looks on a Rhino. Look how sick I look, dude. Look how sick I look with a Rhino. Anyway, we're actually going to try to evaluate this weapon a little bit, and as you can see right away, obviously I can tell as well, is that it attacks. Oh my gosh, did they debuff slide attacks? Because holy shit, that was so slow. I've never seen a slide attack that slow before. Holy moly. Look, I don't use heavy weapons a lot in this game. I probably only use like one other heavy melee in my entire time playing, so this attack speed is, woo, it's not good. It's not good. So it's a slam. Oh, that's a slam. There's electricity damage. Okay, so I think the more kills we get, the more power we build up with that. Honestly, this area, these enemies might be a little bit too weak for this weapon because it has really high base damage and it does like lots of impact and electricity if you do the slam. So I think these guys might be a little bit too weak to even really try out this weapon effectively. You know, normally in this series, you know, this exterminate on Earth is not really difficult, but it's, you know, the enemies are tough enough to where it provides like, you know, somewhat of a challenge for the weapons. It usually takes more than one hit at least to kill them, so you get like a feel for the weapon. But this thing is just destroying people. But of course, look at that attack though. Oh my lord. So while I was researching it on the Wikipedia, the Warframepedia page of it, there was like 50 different positives, a million different positives. Everything about this gun was positive. There was only one negative, and that was the atrocious attack speed. So that's definitely the biggest issue with this problem, and the only roadblock I think I'll see with this weapon is the attack speed. It just so happens to be unfortunate that's like the biggest roadblock in the fucking world. I look like a fucking tortoise, dude. Holy shit. But I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like the weapon. It makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel tough. Obviously, I don't think any slow attack weapon will ever be optimal or like meta, because, you know, there's no reason for that to ever happen. but I mean, I definitely think it could be a viable weapon just based off what I'm doing so far, and based on what I read about it. I definitely think it's a viable weapon, and maybe it should get more love than what it gets, because I've never even heard of this shit before. I just randomly crafted it, and I started doing research, and that's when I finally learned about it a little bit, because like just no one talks about it, and that's literally why I looked up people were talking about why no one talks about it. So I may have found it's just a hidden little gem here, you guys. You know, you guys watch this series to find the worst weapons, but you may have just found a mediocre weapon. But again, the attack speed's so slow. I mean, I don't know. It probably still is one of the worst weapons in the game, because oh my god. I mean, look at that, dude. That's so badass feeling. I know these are just like level 3 enemies, so it doesn't do shit, but it's just so badass to have that awesome slam attack. And like, I haven't tried to level it up yet, obviously. Okay, so I leveled the Arca Titron all the way up, and honestly, I feel like the Hulk and Thor had a baby to make this weapon. I mean, this weapon was honestly incredibly fun to level, basically the complete opposite of the Kraken. Reading this script, I really hate the Kraken. I might actually need to calm down on this, because I hate on the Kraken every chance I get. Holy shit. Anyway, the Arca Titron doesn't even feel bad, and it was one-shotting level 30s at its earliest levels without mods. Honestly, I was setting up this video to be one of my worst weapon in Warframe videos. However, after enjoying the Titron so much before I've even maxed it, I don't really think that's a fair name. Obviously, the biggest issue with the Titron is the fact that it sounds like robotic tits. But besides that, the second biggest issue is the fact that it attacks so fucking slow. Like once every minute you get to attack with the weapon, and if I hit the attack button once too much, that's a whole hour I spend waiting on the combo to finish. Now don't get me wrong, landing a hit with the Titron, or doing a slam attack and hitting a group of enemies, is one of the most satisfying feelings ever. However, missing a hit makes me want to commit mass unaliving in a Minecraft village and put all the items the villagers dropped in one mass grave. If you're landing every hit, this weapon feels amazing and makes you feel insanely powerful. However, if you miss, you feel like Turbo in that one snail movie before he gets his speed powers. That was a very obscure reference. Besides all of that, whenever I open containers or crates, I usually just melee them. And having a slow weapon makes it a pain in the ass to open crates that I'm quickly just jumping by. That's more of a small complaint since I can just shoot those open. Before I show you guys the gameplay I'm using at the max level, I'll go ahead and show you the mods that I'm using on it here. Honestly, I think I have a pretty solid mod setup for using it without an Orc and Catalyst to add, extra mod spaces. I want to get that stash chance over 100% for sure. I did manage to achieve that. Now I also want to show you guys a more optimal build of the Arca Titron, and this build is by Pro Noob, and the link to his video will be in the description below. He does all sorts of crazy shit, like building his Inaros to specifically help benefit him when using the Arca Titron, and really takes his build to the next level with it. Like you guys know, I run a casual Warframe channel here, so we're not doing these optimal builds. I'm not good enough at math or Warframe for that kind of shit. I'm just here to tell you if the weapon is fun to use and cool, and guess what? The Arca Titron is both. And now here's me having fun at using it at its max level. Titron. Anyway, dude, this weapon has been so fun. Oh my gosh, gun. I don't see a gun here. This weapon is absolutely underrated. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's so cool. It just looks awesome. It feels awesome to play with, even though it attacks really slow. I put like a Fury on it. It's not even a max modded Fury, I don't think. It's like 20% increase to attack speed, and that makes the weapon feel completely different. Just 20% makes this weapon feel so much faster, and that's all you really need to have an amazing time with this weapon. Because, like, I don't know, man, it just feels great to use. It's definitely maybe my favorite melee to use in the game now, because it looks so cool and it feels so fun to use. Definitely not the best. It's definitely not the most optimal. But I mean, it's honestly not bad at all. That's why I changed the name of this video. It was originally supposed to be worst weapons in Warframe video, but it turned into like one of the coolest weapons in Warframe, or maybe the most underrated weapon in Warframe. Because this weapon's actually just been a really fun time to use. I think a lot of hammers and a lot of slow attacking melee weapons. The robotic titty hammer is one of the most enjoyable weapons I've ever fucking used. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed the tonal shift of this video as I used it more and more, but I'm pretty sure I went from expecting booty cheeks to mid but fun to actually pretty good and a lot of fun. I actually ended up using an Orc and Catalyst on the Arca Titron so I could have even more fun with it. Honestly, I can't believe I ever even considered for this to be one of the worst weapon videos. I feel like I disrespected Thor by doing that. Also, I haven't talked about it too much, but the slam attack that you build up damage with is absolutely devastating at higher levels. It does a massive amount of damage and a huge AoE, and does electricity damage on top of that. Honestly, I don't care what anyone says, I love this weapon. This has been by far my favorite video to make when it comes to videos concerning weapons on this channel. Anyway guys, give the Arca Titron a try. It's not hard to craft and you can buy a blueprint from the store. Even if hammers aren't your style, or if you already have the most optimal build in the entire game, give this weapon a try, because slanging around a hammer this massive is lots of fun for anybody. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of my video on the Arca Titron. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you eventually learn to enjoy the Arca Titron itself. Also, thank you guys so much for 1K subs. It's an absolutely amazing accomplishment. We hit it really quickly, and I really appreciate it. It's just such an awesome thing. On top of that, I'm planning to start live streaming here soon, so keep posted on my community tab for the schedule in the coming week if you'd be interested in watching that. It probably won't happen this week. I'll probably release the schedule for next week, this week, because I have some family matters going on that I have to take care of. But anyway, stay blessed, folks, and have a good night.